Urban Therapy with Sunsun 752, and this your daily go-getterism number 838 for January 2017. No snitching. The no snitching policy, the no snitching clause, the no snitching rule. It's a staple in the hood. But it's one of the staples in the hood that I think gets a bad rap. A lot of times when you talk about no snitching, most people think about violent crime. So if you see somebody out there getting shot, hurt, beat up, violated, or in any other any way being harmed, that's normally and nobody says anything about it because you're supposed to protect the crime doer. That's the bad rap that the no snitching rule gets. It's not like that. That's for limited thinking. That's what, in my opinion. This is all my opinion. In my opinion, that's for people who look at the news a lot and who get their view of the world by the media. When you're out there, you're living that life, you understand that the no snitching rule has a lot of different facets to it. And of course, not everybody is going to subscribe to it because we have some people who are straight shooters. Some people who really do believe in law and order and justice and all of that kind of stuff, and they believe that that's the way that things are supposed to be because that's the way they were set up, and that the laws and policies are set up to protect people. To me, that's a limited way of thinking, and it's totally false. But it doesn't mean that there isn't some legitimacy to it as far as other people are concerned, and we have to respect that. Now, when I think about no snitching, I normally think about crime or violations or rules as a whole. Things that could apply to anything and anybody. When I think about no snitching, I think about clubs, I think about organizations, I think about family, I think about unity. Because you're not going to tell on people who are special to you. You're not going to tell on people who you love. You're not going to tell on people who you care about because you don't want to see anything bad happen to them. So, the no snitching rule is something that a lot of street people, a lot of people who are out there in the game, hustling, doing whatever they do in order to ensure their survival or put food on their table, take care of themselves and their families, whatever. They really do push the no snitching rule, to the letter. But they don't. There have always been people who have snitched on people, who have told on people, who have bitten people's backs out and all those kind of things. It doesn't matter, and that's whether you're on the streets, that's whether you're in the house, that's whether you're in jail, that's whether you're in a club organization, whatever. There are always people who are opportunistic or who don't think that somebody deserves to get away with something that they have done. Sometimes people tell on people just because they don't like them. That happens a lot. It's not that they feel like anybody has been violated. It's not that they feel like they've been violated. They just don't like somebody and they see they have broken some rules, so they tell on them. Now, on the streets, like I was saying, that's the place where the no snitching rule is mainly in effect. So that may be the stereotypical place where somebody is hurting someone else and no one tells, because that's the code of the streets, and it's just not right to tell on each other when you're out there doing dirt. And that's really what it's all about. They figure since we're all out here doing dirt, we can't report other dirt when we're doing just as bad or worse than probably what we bear witness to. Now, for the people who aren't on the streets and they're worried about the safety of the people, the innocent people in their neighborhood, of course, most of them are not going to live by the no snitching rule, and they shouldn't, probably. But even they follow the no snitching rule when it applies to them. Because they may have people, they may have loved ones that are out there doing their thing. There have been plenty of mothers and grandmothers and grandfathers and whoever who have looked the other way when their grandchildren or their sons or their daughters were doing dirt on the outside. As long as nobody who they knew were getting hurt, and as long as they didn't bring that danger to their homes. Sometimes they just look the other way. Drug dealing is one of those things. Now, people can argue that drug dealing and drug use ruins neighborhoods. I love to hear black people talk about that. You know, I remember a lot of people saying that crack messed up the black community and destroyed the black community. My only question is, where are these black communities that were thriving before the crack epidemic? Now, I know that crack did some terrible things to the black community, but how can you destroy what was already decimated? And I'm just being honest about that. You know, we've had our problems. White supremacy and a whole lot of other things have done way worse to our neighborhoods. Well, white supremacy is what, and government intervention is what got crack into the neighborhoods in the first place. But we have this thing where we blame the victim instead of the perpetrator. Especially when it looks like we are the perpetrator, but we're not the ones who got the drugs into the neighborhood. That was a plan. And if you don't believe that, I encourage you to look up COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO. You know, if you're not already up on that, that was an organization, that was a plan to flood the black neighborhoods with the crack. And to destroy any unity or any type of progressive movements that were happening. They put crack and violence and all that kind of stuff. They had agents to go into the hood to distract anything positive that was going on. That's another story, but look it up. COINTELPRO. So that's one of the reasons why I think that many people are on the fence when it comes to the whole no snitching thing. Some people are strict by it. Like, look, I'm not telling nothing. I ain't seen nothing, whatever. And that could be for a variety of reasons. In the hood, to be totally honest with you, the police aren't our friends. They are reactive, and you know, of course, you know, you're going to have people who say, well, you know, there are plenty of good police officers out there, or all, the one I love, all police aren't bad. Yeah, I know that. But if enough of them were good, then we wouldn't even have to say all police are bad. But in the hood, because of the stigma of being in the hood, or of the people who live in the hood, because of the stereotypical nature of people in the hood, the police aren't someone they aren't people who we can count on to correctly protect and serve. They're not interested in that. A lot of times they just come and crack heads and lock people up and even plant evidence on people and things like that. So, you know, so some people employ the no snitching rule because of that, because they can't rely on law enforcement in order to help them be able to remedy their problems, solve their problems. I'm one who feels that way. I believe that we should have community policing. You know, we should have good guys in our own community who make sure that they take care of their community. But, you know, that's like a pipe dream, because we ain't trying to hear that. Anyway, you know, if you don't get anything out of this video, this is what I want you to get out of this video. When you say no snitching, you're not just talking about violent crime. That's number one. And when you say no snitching, you're not just talking about, you know, people who are hurting someone else and ruining the neighborhood and making things unsafe. Because a lot of times, people who aren't into crime need to have services done where they may employ the no snitching rule. Like, let's say you want to add on a home or do some home repairs to your home, and you don't want to report that to L&I because they get into your pockets and suck you dry. And they also impose all types of violations and this word I'm looking for, sanction. Anyway, you wind up spending more money to have something done to your home than you would have spent by getting L&I and licenses and inspections involved. So you don't want nobody snitching on you when you're trying to do something for yourself and your family. That's still no snitching. See, you can't just paint it all in one box, but we have a tendency to do that. Anyway, good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, when it all comes down to it, there comes a time in all of our lives where we want to employ or invoke the no snitching clause. Some things you need to just get done. All crime isn't violent, and all snitching, well, the no snitching thing can apply to everybody at a particular time. Like in Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania controls all the liquor. So a lot of because the liquor isn't so cheap in this state, many bar owners, club owners will go to Jersey and Delaware to buy their liquor and bring it to Pennsylvania so they can sell it in their businesses. Are they really committing a crime? Are they violating anyone? No. But if somebody snitches on them, they could stand to lose their liquor license. So I know they don't want to be snitched on. I'm telling you. No snitching. That's what it is. Listen, tonight on the Urban Therapy with Son show, I want y'all to check out the Urban Therapy with Son show. We're going to be talking about after the inauguration. The settling dust. When the dust settles. When the inauguration is done on this Friday, what's it going to be? Has the threat, will the reality of the action be as bad as the threat that's been going on for these past few months? Is Donald Trump going to be as bad as we thought he was going to be? Or will he be worse? Will it only affect black people and so-called minorities? His policies and things like that? Because when you really think about it, if he's going to really stick it to the poor, well, there are more white poor than there are black poor. So the white people who voted for him, because now they think that they can call us niggers and jigaboos and spicks and all that kind of stuff. After that's done, after that fun part is over, what happens then? What happens when it starts to affect them as well? So we're going to see about this. You know what I mean? So let's talk about that tonight. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Urban Therapy with Son show. Call-in number is 319-527-6199. Press number 1 and you can speak, or you can just listen to the entire show. 319-527-6199. Or you can listen online. blogtalkradio.com/Son752. Peace. Holla at y'all later.